data miner kata. Hello and welcome to another Bring the Thunder, an amazing exercise awaiting us today with a new guest. I'm joined here together with, I believe it's Kevin, right?
Yes.
Kevin, tell me a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you do here at Skyline?
So I'm Kevin, and I'm mainly working on correlation.
Mainly working on correlation, yes. Because that is indeed, if I remember correctly, the topic of today.
Yes.
Correlation rules. So we're going to be looking at correlation rules. So can you maybe tell me a little bit correlation rules, like in general, like high level? What is it?
Correlation is a powerful tool to take action when certain things happen in your data miner system.
I mean, it's perfect. It's in a single line. It's one sentence. So a powerful tool to take action in your system when something happens.
Yeah.
That's extremely vague and generic, but I guess that means you can do a lot with it.
You can do very much with it.
Okay, and we're going to have a kata. You've designed an exercise.
I made it.
I made a tutorial. It's going to be probably, we're starting small, I guess, a basic one. Because it's a big topic.
Yes, it's a very big topic, and it can be used for quite some things. The first kata will be a simple exercise just to show you how to make correlation.
Perfect. Okay.
The example of today is we have a network switch, an element, and when that element goes into timeout for like longer than an hour, for obvious reasons, we will
not wait an hour here?
No.
Okay. I mean, I can talk a lot. People know this about me.
We don't want that.
But filling up, we don't want that. Oh, get out. No. Everyone wants to hear me talk. Come on, right?
So for obvious reasons, we won't wait until the timeout. If it happens for like an hour, we will say it like, it happens 10 seconds.
Okay.
We will do something.
Okay. And any prerequisites? Do they need to install a DMAP or something from the catalog? Okay. So you can...
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
For correlation itself, you don't need it, but for the tutorial, if you install the DM app package, we'll have the element, an automation script that does something.
Okay. We'll probably have link to the documentation below here in this video, and we'll put in there which catalog item you need to get, or do you know by heart which one you need right now?
I don't know yet.
Okay, we don't know yet, but you'll get that at the time of the video.
Yes,
you'll see which one to download from the catalog. So that'll just give us a small element which you can then use for the tutorial and the exercise.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, Kevin, it's all up to you. Let's jump in. Let's have a look at what you've prepared.
So we see we have an element named network switch.
Yes.
It represents a switch somewhere. And we can create a timeout on it just to test.
All right, just so simple buttons that generate the timeout.
It will simulate that the network switch is in timeout. It doesn't respond for some reason. Maybe a hardware failure.
Maybe network. We cannot connect to it. Yeah.
If this happens for too long, we want to know about it. We want to take action.
Yeah, automatically.
Yeah. We don't want to check it the whole time.
Yeah, I don't want to sit there constantly watching it myself. So that's why we have, I suppose, data miner and the correlation rule.
Yeah. So now we will make a correlation rule to take action when the timeout happens for too long.
Okay.
So we go to apps, correlation.
Right.
And we make a new correlation.
Right. So correlation rules has its own tab. It's under the apps.
Yeah.
And then in there we can just make a new rule. All right. You can do... Yeah, you were quite vague in the description of correlation, but it means you can do quite a lot with it. But so we're using the editor now. Is this the only place to do stuff like this?
As far as I know, yes.
Yeah, okay. So within this editor, So we're starting with the name.
So we just call it kata network switch timeout. And we'll start with alarm filter. Alarm filter will decide which alarms on the agents are interesting for the rule.
Okay.
So when the network switch goes in timeout, it's an alarm.
So critical, major, all those, and timeouts as well.
Yeah. We find it very interesting for a rule.
Yeah.
You want to do something when that happens.
Yeah, that's the point.
So first we say we want alarms from the network switch.
Right.
If something happens, we want to have a look at that.
Yeah, so we're selecting specifically the element here, the network switch, and saying, okay, we want a specific alarm there to do something with.
Just watch out, you can select a lot of elements.
Okay.
You can if you select the view, for example, it's possible you have a lot of alarms coming in.
All right, because it would take everything under that view.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you like a service or a view, it would probably grab whatever is under there or whatever is used to create.
So watch out with that. Correlation rules are meant to take action, quick actions.
Yeah.
And maybe not too much.
Okay, so there is a thing there you need to take into account a little bit of scaling.
If you take action, those actions potentially have an impact on the system.
Yes.
So you might be thinking, for alarms on this view, I want to do this. But if there are a lot of alarms, so you'll have to do a lot of actions.
Okay.
It might seem okay.
It's a small rule with a heavy impact. Potentially heavy impact. So but it makes sense, yeah. If you've got like a view and there's like 100 elements in there, and you don't really consider the impact of that, because imagine it's a, what do you call it again? I keep calling it a flapping alarm, but it's not a flapping alarm. It's something else. It's when it goes up and down again, like critical and then normal, critical, normal, critical, normal. So something like that could, if you're not careful, generate an event every time or generate a correlation every time. Potentially yes. But not in the way we're going to do it.
No.
Because the way we're doing it, we have a time window, right?
Yes. Look. So you're interested in alarms from the network switch. And by the way, you can group alarms. So now all the alarms from this element will come in a bucket. If you, for example, select view, all the alarms from that view will come into the bucket, but you can also specify, I want to group those alarms per element.
Okay.
Yeah. But that is now not the case now.
Okay.
So we have that alarm from the network switch, and we say, if the severity is timeout, we want to do something.
Okay, straightforward so far.
Yeah. We select timeout. Voila. So if you apply this and you enable this rule, if a timeout happens, so basically if an element isn't responsive,
it will immediately trigger.
Yes, but if an element stops responding, the default in data miner is 30 seconds before it generates a timeout. For this example, for this tutorial, I changed that to 2 seconds because I don't want to wait that long.
Right, again, just for the tutorial's sake, to speed it up a bit, make sure.
Back to the correlation rule. So now we take the timeout from the network switch, and by default, immediate evaluation is selected. So when that alarm comes in, it passes through the alarm filters. Immediately, the rule condition will be evaluated.
Right.
We can do that, but
you'll end up with what I said earlier. If you have something that keeps going into timeout and then out of timeout, like if it's intermittent connectivity issue or something.
It could happen, but if it happens for like more than an hour, we want to know about it. Then we want to do something.
Right.
Not if it happens for like a few seconds.
Yeah, if there's something a short burst of a connectivity issue, I mean, it's okay if things recover themselves and you don't want to constantly get alerted or something.
Another example is if an element goes into critical, if that happens for like a few seconds, it's okay.
Maybe, depending on the use case.
Depending on the use case. If it happens for more than 5 minutes, for example, we want to do something.
And I think that's where you can probably change that. You can see, I can see the immediate evaluation or the persistent event.
So we say, just for this example, this tutorial, 10 seconds. If this timeout happens for more than 10 seconds, we want to do something.
Right, yes. So it's going to be about, with your configuration, 3 seconds before it goes actually into timeout, and then 10 seconds before the correlation rule would trigger. Okay, makes sense.
Before those 10 seconds ends, the element starts responding again, it stops being in timeouts. The correlation rule will not trigger.
Okay, that makes sense. What are we gonna do with the rule? What's our action?
What do we want to do? We have several options.
Okay.
So we can acknowledge the base alarm, but that's not the case here.
Okay.
We can escalate a new alarm. It's also very common.
Seems dangerous to end up in a loop there, but yeah, if you know what you're doing.
You can set a parameter or a text message, but in this case, we will send an email and a script, an automation script.
Oh yeah, multiple actions.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll start with the script. This will say to the correlation rule, if this happens, you have to execute your actions. Run an automation script.
Yeah.
Maybe you know, but in automation scripts you can do a lot of things. In this case, just to demonstrate, we'll just generate an information event.
Right.
So we'll keep it very simple. So I already have that on my system.
Automation script piece of code there.
This will also be part of the package you will have to install.
Right, so part of the prerequisite package will have your script in there. Okay.
So if I close this and the rule triggers, it will generate an information event basically.
Yeah.
Maybe important for mentioning is this option. Wait for the script to finish before continuing.
Yes.
Let's say you're in an automation script and there's a sleep in it from like a minute.
Okay.
If this option is enabled, if thank you is here.
Yes, yes. It's checked, the checkbox.
It will start executing the rule, and correlation will wait with doing other stuff before this rule is before this action is executed.
Correlation as a whole, so the module as a whole will wait until that.
This can have quite an impact because this means that also that other correlation rules are delayed because they don't get the information they need.
Okay, that is important to know. So that checkbox indeed, if you disable it, you'll have more of an asynchronous behavior there where you can have other correlation rules still go.
Yep.
And if it's enabled, you're literally trying to synchronize the entire correlation module as a whole. You're saying nothing else can happen until this one is done.
Let's say this script doesn't generate an information event but contains a sleep and does some other things. It takes a while to finish. Correlation will wait until this script is finished before doing the next action.
Okay.
So be aware of that.
Well, does it then like queue up the other actions and then they all start going one on the other? So
when the first one is finished, the other will go next.
So generally, I mean, kind of feels like you want to disable it then?
You can disable it, yes. Then it will just start it and it will do other things.
Yeah. So unless you really need that one to do something before something else happens, you probably want to just disable that. Okay, makes sense.
So we will run a script that generates an information event. And you also have some other options, execute on clear. So you remember the conditions we specified here. If it is not applicable anymore, if it's
right. So if it's in timeout, this thing has triggered and it goes out of timeout, then it will re-trigger again.
Yeah. So basically, you can create actions and modify some custom options.
Okay.
To let it behave differently.
Okay. So technically, you can actually
have quite a lot of options.
Okay, you can actually change the behavior if it's the clear, than if it's the activation of the.
You can let the information. So if we enable this, if the network switch goes into critical from timeout, it will also be executed. So it will generate a new information event.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So these are all options.
Additional options.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we were going to add another action there as well, the email one.
So be aware that if you want to send an email, you have to have a mail server configured.
I was going to ask because it's not just mailing from nowhere. So the user needs to have configured a mail server there.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can find that in docs. Maybe we can link it.
Yeah, well, we'll put another link right there on the docs on how you can do that.
It will also be mentioned in the tutorial.
Yeah, it's not, I do remember it's not that difficult. I think I did that setup at my own house. I have a similar rule there. If something in my house goes in critical, I get an email and I pretty much use this as well. I didn't know about some of the options so far, but so I am learning quite a lot already.
For the different actions, you have different options.
Yeah.
Most of them are like a bit similar.
Yeah. And you only see them when you have that action.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
So I'll send a mail to myself.
Okay. That's kind of you not to spam someone else. So, Ben Vandenberg at Skyline.
You can do that.
He'd step in here. What's going on, guys?
So I'll just give the kata.
Uh-huh.
Network switch. Timed out.
So just a nice subject and then just a message there that indicates what happened.
Yeah.
It's a demo now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we apply.
All right.
Voila. Don't forget to enable the rule.
I was going to say, okay. Yeah.
You can make the rule, but if you don't enable it, it won't work.
Yeah, because I saw it was grayed out in the UI there. So I figured that seems strange, but enable it.
Exactly. So we will enable this. Voila.
Mm-hmm.
And now we will simulate the timeout
on
the network switch, and hopefully it works. Hopefully I didn't forget anything.
Well, we'll see. I mean, you've set it for 13 seconds. That's 13 seconds of your heart beating as we wait if it happens or not. And now he's going to be, maybe I should change it to 2 seconds. No. Okay, so I suppose we give that a go and see what happens then.
After 2 seconds, this element will go in timeout.
Okay, that's already done.
So,
and now in the background, and the correlation engine, I guess.
Yes.
Or module. What does that do in the background? Does that like loop continuously to check the conditions? Is that like something in the, like a thread that just keeps, hey, is something going on? Or is that like an eventing based thing? Do you know what is happening there? I'm just asking because out of an interest here, because I know some situations in data miner are eventing based, so with subscriptions and things, like if something goes into timeout, it will push, and the other way is more like you've got a thread that just...
It's a thread.
So it's a separate thread.
And when a new alarm comes in, it will be placed on a stack somewhere.
Okay.
And then it will go to the right buckets if needed, and the conditions will be checked.
Well, I mean, that's good. That's a good way of working, because it means it's rather stable. It doesn't depend too much on if there's a huge storm of things. Okay, but so something happened.
Yeah. So we went into timeout for longer than 10 seconds. It worked.
Perfect. I managed to talk for more than 10 seconds, guys. Surprise, surprise. So we got an information event.
Yeah. So you see, something started the script, the correlation rule, obviously.
Yes.
And it generated an information event.
Okay, perfect.
The network was timed out for longer than an hour.
So an automatic action was taken based on an alarming or an event happening. And then I want to ask, the second thing we did?
The mail.
Did we get a mail? So that can also take a little bit of time sometimes, depending on the mail server and the traffic.
It's not like it can take a few seconds.
Yeah, it can take a while. But
so this looks good so far.
Okay. But we did get one there.
We did get one.
So no reply at dataminer.services. Is that's a default mail thing that you configured, or is that something?
I think you can configure that. I haven't experimented much with it.
Okay,
but I think you can.
You can probably configure that mail if you want to. Okay, that's a default. I'm guessing.
I think at the same place you configured the mail server.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. No. And we did get it there saying hello to us. So that's pretty powerful. It's small and it's a short kata, but that doesn't make it any less valuable. It is extremely valuable because this is like the core between automating, because something goes wrong and instead of having to be there yourself to see it go wrong and then take action, you can have the system give you a warning wherever you are, or even, I'm guessing, do things like I saw actions there, like set parameters and things. So you could have an entire failover setup there, something that switches between elements based on a correlation rule. So all of that seems possible with this correlation engine.
There's quite a lot possible. This kata is meant to be a first introduction.
Right,
Because the people.
He's telling me to, man, be quiet. You're saying too much. You're complicating things.
No. So this kata is meant to be a first tutorial.
Right.
Showing you how to set up correlation rule.
Okay.
Where to watch out for.
Okay, so we might be seeing more of you with more.
Most likely.
Okay, that's excellent. Yeah,
And then we'll go deeper into correlation.
And we'll
and
go
show
deeper.
some other things.
Man, I'm all for it, man. Well, so we should probably have the user, if they're following along, people watching, take a screenshot of a certain part. Unless there was more to this kata you still wanted to really show us.
No.
Okay, then how about let's have them take a screenshot of, I suppose, the correlation rule and the information event that came in. Eh?
So if you
don't necessarily need to send us a screenshot of your mailing and all of that. That's fine. We'll take care of that. This is fine. Okay, good. Yeah. So if you take a screenshot of your correlation rule with the information event that came in triggered by the timeout, we'll get you your amazing DevOps points. Other than that, I would say thank you for making some time and actually showing us this exercise. And I hope to see more of you and more of the correlation engine in the future. Right, for everyone watching, I would also say if you have any topics or really interesting things you want to learn more about within Data Miner, don't hesitate to ask us. Just send a quick mail to dunner@skyline.be and you'll be reaching out directly to me. So don't worry about anything. You have a topic, just let me know and I'll look into it. Other than that, if you are watching from YouTube, do not forget to ring that bell, to like and to subscribe to our channel so you're always aware of any new videos coming out. And I guess that's it. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one then. Goodbye.